very first episode of Philly Loves Philly with the guy who shows Philly what to love, Hector Nunez from Water Ice.
Thanks for having me,
How's
bro.
it going?
Yeah, great day. Nice, chilly, breezy day here in Philly.
You were on Good Day earlier this morning.
That's true. So I don't know when this
So
is
you
going
were
to air, but we'll definitely.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So this will mean nothing when it airs, by the time it airs. But I was alluding to the slow build of the height of your day. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Starting a good day and then sitting on a trolley overlooking the beautiful scenic 95.
That's generous of you to think that my day was going like this. I feel like now it's going like this.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's mean of you to point out. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Water Ice. When did you guys launch?
Oh man, we officially launched 2014. It was initially just like a blogging type of thing, just like, hey, I love stuff that's going on in Philly. There's no one's talking about it. It wasn't a website. It was just like, Philly.com, and that was it. There was no like blogging like to that effect, like that was hyper local. So I was like, you know what? Let me just showcase what's going on. A lot of my friends after college moved away were like, this city sucks. There's nothing to do here. I was like, no. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot of great things. You just don't know where to look. So I took it upon myself to highlight things that are happening and people that are making it happen.
How old were you when you launched it?
Let's see here. I would say like early 30s, like 31. I'm old, man.
So what were you doing leading into that?
I finished Temple. All right, none of my age is out there. I graduated Temple in 05. After that, I did public relations not far from here. I see my office in the 5th and Walnut here. I did public relations for did PA Tourism, did public relations for SEPTA, all types of stuff, press releases. And I was like, all right, cool. I love writing. This is my thing. Then I got into project management, doing SEO and marketing and different clients. And I just kind of fused the two and I put my talents to use for myself.
When you started in 2014, was your crew there or was it just you?
Nah, it was me flying solo, man. Flying solo like an eagle, baby. Just myself. And then I had Jamel, who's on my team. He was actually a cruise director for like Carnival Cruises. He was like doing like the hosting and all this crazy stuff. And he was just finishing up his thing. And he hit my old roommate. He was like, man, I really want to do stuff like on camera, TV. And he was like, why don't you hit up Hector? We all went to Temple together. He probably needs some stuff because I was doing like interviews, but by my damn self. So I was just kind of like, I was actually doing marketing for a real estate company, and they had a camera. I couldn't afford a camera at the time, so I would borrow their camera at night, do my interviews at night, bring it back in the morning. So I was just doing videos by myself, teaching myself how to edit. I didn't know anything about videos, cameras. I didn't know anything like all that stuff was like foreign to me. So I just went to YouTube University, applied myself, learned how to do this camera stuff. And then he hit me up. He was like, hey, man, I see you're doing camera work. I'm coming back to Philly. What's up? And we were just like, hell yeah. Because I'm here doing this, but I'm definitely not an on-camera person. Don't get that. That's not my thing. But
You feel like it's starting to become your thing now, though?
I really don't. I really wanted to just be the brand, like for the brand and stuff. I don't put myself on there because I just want to be larger than me. I just wanted it to be more of a community. And I have different people like him, Farah, and Lauren and other contributors and contributing to the thing. Not the thing, but to Water Ice. And I just wanted it to be bigger than me. I didn't want people to have to buy into me. I just wanted to buy into the brand and feel like they're part of this Water Ice community and not being part of me, like as a person. That makes sense.
No, it doesn't, because I want things to be all about me as a guide, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, to some it might make sense. To me, it's a little foreign. Would you remember your first post?
My first post? That's a great freaking question. I don't remember my first post per se, but I remember my first interview, which is my boy Apollo, who's actually in Camden over here over the river. I was actually hitting people up to do interviews, and either didn't answer my emails or they just was like, nah. They were like, no, absolutely not. Yeah. And that was like all types of people, like rappers, everything. And I happened to have a relationship with him. I was like, listen, man, I'm trying to get some content going. Can you just please let me interview you? And I drove over to Camden, did an interview, knocked it out, and after that I just started doing people that I knew. Like my friend had a Oodles and Noodles book. Our other friend was like a teacher, does photography. And then from there people were like, all right, I kind of see what you're doing, and it kind of opened the doors a little bit.
You remember the first thing that went viral?
First thing that went viral? Actually, there was the biggest article that went crazy was probably the Franklin Institute Science After Hours. It just started. No one talked about it. It was like whatever. Nobody even knew about it. And I just happened to be on Franklin Institute's events page, and I was like, this is dope. cocktail science, and I'd like science after hours complete with cocktails, and it just like blew up. It had like, I think that week we had like 100,000 visits to the site. It went crazy, and then the Franks Institute was like, this looks great, let's do it every month. But they never gave me my credit until now. Now they're like, all right, they mess with me. Yeah, but now we're cool. Me and them are cool. But at the time they were just like, yeah, they wouldn't even answer my emails, nothing. I was like, but you don't see, I'm helping you guys out. But
right.
No. At the beginning, man, no one either would respond to me, gave me any kind of like a recognition, nothing. So I like, it definitely wasn't about accolades. It was just more about passion, you know.
I feel like I was on that list in the beginning. We talked about that earlier off camera.
Yeah, so that was foreshadowing this.
I apologize again. So when do you make the switch from interviewing friends to starting to support and promote local businesses?
Yeah. When did I make that switch, you're saying? I mean, it's
when
like
did that start to get added into the?
It was like a natural progression because that's what we're doing, and like I think people like as they got to see like the content flowing in, they gotta, because it was like a kind of not a new concept, but it was like kind of foreign here because there was no like how there are influencers, so they understand like bring them in, talk about my stuff, and post social media. That at the time YouTube wasn't pushing videos; it was like all photos, and like TikTok wasn't around. So a lot of business owners, they're just want to focus on their business, not thinking about social media. This whole social media admins and stuff like that are just like more of a newer concept. A lot of people didn't even have social media departments. It was just like I worked at a marketing agency. Like we just got a social media department to deal with clients, and that was like a new thing. Like, what do you mean somebody handles somebody else's Facebook? That's like what that's a whole job, you know? Right. So like us to be like, hey, let's push social media. It took a while for people to come around, understand, and kind of visualize it. But once they did, I started getting more invitations. I developed, and it's all about relationships. Build up good relationships with like marketing people, PR people, other content creators. Like remember Alistair right here is a great example of that. I mean, it's just like about relationship building, you know.
How do you feel about other content creators coming onto the scene now? Because from what you said, like you built up that base, right? Yeah. You knew SEO, you knew PR, you knew the marketing end of it, and now it seems like this influx of influencers on the scene.
I mean, I think it's great because people can control their narrative a lot more, like businesses, and like control their image, and kind of like don't have to rely on like agencies so much. And now, it's like keeps it hyper local. So I think it's great for that aspect. And it's a double-edged sword because at the same time, it could be a little saturated in certain areas where it's just like a little too much information happening. It's like it's overload for a lot of people. Like everyone's doing like crazy food stuff or crazy tourism stuff or whatever. So we try to keep a balance of everything. We're not trying to be too one slot side or the other. But I think it's great because it gives also people opportunity to like generate revenue or monetize their platform, so it's great for that. So more power to them, man. Anything you could do to generate income for yourself legally is a great thing.
That's right. I'm glad you threw in the disclaimer.
The disclaimer.
We're going to talk about your ages, your beginning at like Marcy's Playground. Never mind. So what's the first small bit? So Franklin Institute's first viral post, right?
Yeah.
What's the first moment where you felt like you're sort of like the standard maker, like Wood Rice has now a reputation. You mentioned hyper local, so you've got everybody knows we could trust you to be hyper local for Philly, and you're sort of now the authority on things. Like when was there a moment or a time frame where you felt like, all right, people are looking to you now as opposed to you looking to get people showcase? I
think for a while, like we had like certain situations where we had potential partnerships. Like we had an actual partnership with 100.3 The Beat when it was at the time. So we had our own landing page on their page, and we were doing a lot of cool stuff, collaborations.
Right.
But it didn't really take off till like the pandemic hit. So it was a gift and a curse because people had no choice but to stay home and watch. So like at the time pandemic, I think we were like under 10,000 followers, maybe at 10,000.
Okay.
Something like that. It was a funny story, backtrack. I remember I was doing content at my boy who owns this Capelli Cigars.
Right.
And I was like doing content with him, and I remember when he had like 2,000 followers, and he looked at my Instagram and was like, man, you guys should have a lot more followers in this. And I was just like, true, but also was like, damn, that kind of, I was like, we should. Yeah. But long story short, fast forward, pandemic hits. We started doing like memes and posts, and I'm able to like really focus on my craft and really, because like instead of being pulled all over places.
Right.
I feel like I'm talking so fast.
That's okay.
But
I feel like you just made a breaking sound to fast forward. By the way,
you're
like fast forward.
I'm saving Alistair time so we have to find sound effects. So
That's
it's like, you know, editing takes a long time. Let me save him.
That's
time.
Yeah, much
But
appreciated.
yeah, so pandemic hit and we started really taking on people sharing our posts. And I think once the pandemic started like ease up, it really started people like, hey, let's bring them in, kind of like talk to these people. More publications took us serious. A lot of people didn't take us serious. Now they're like citing us, like other media outlets are like giving us our links and saying like, hey, by the way, they reported this first, and so like, all right, so like, we started getting a little bit more respect out here.
Now,
put some respect on her name.
I mean, I've seen it firsthand. Going to a restaurant that off of your recommendation on your page, talking to the manager there and mentioning that to him, and every table surrounded me saying, "That's what we saw. That's what we saw."
Yeah.
And I mean, literally, it's a 12-table restaurant, and 10 of them had came from Water Ice. So, what's the next natural progression for you personally as you're spreading out in Philly?
Mars, baby.
That's nice. It's untapped.
It's untapped, under resources. The lane there. There's no influencers
Right.
there. It's like wide open.
No influencers.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I don't know. No, but I say like right now, like we started off writing, doing a lot of videos, video content. I think the next thing we really focus on is curating events, and I think that's something that we might have something in the works. Who knows? I don't know. But it's kind of like in that space where we can kind of engage with the community, touch the people. I like several people on our team, especially Jay. We have a lot background in events and things like that. And it's just, we obviously during the pandemic, we were just starting to take up. We were doing a lot of cool things, and then they kind of obviously.
Sure.
Yes, but now we're kind of getting back on track. So I think look out for more events, things happening in the city where we can kind of curate. Because there's a lot of things, especially for my demographic, my age range and our age range. There's not a lot of stuff that's catered to them. And there's a lot of cookie cutter stuff. And I want to do things that are besides just going out and partying. I want to do stuff that's like, I'm old. I want to be in bed by like 9 o'clock.
More experience related and get to bed early.
Yeah.
Well, you're becoming a gym rat now, right? So you gotta be. You're in
I'm
there like 5 a.m.
Sucking his gut.
I see that on your timeline all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the same 5 a.m. picture each. Like maybe you took a whole bunch the first day.
We don't.
Is that right?
we don't give out my secrets.
Okay.
and checks in the mail.
Yeah.
We're saying it.
So.
Yeah, I gotta like take care of it because like, especially like dealing with a lot of food situations. I don't know how some of these foodies do it. Eating out, I'm typing and editing all day. You know, it takes time, and the calories add up, man. So I'm really trying to like cook at home and how to take care of myself because I can't be out. I don't know how some of these foodies do it, man.
I was gonna say, how do you avoid the burnout? Because you have to constantly be on, right? Like you're always looking for the next event, posting about the next event, coordinating, shooting that event. Like it's exhausting going through the list.
Yeah, it's definitely mentally taxing. But, you know, just take time out. Obviously, mental health is like a big thing that's been preached and so forth, buzzword. We just, just take time. I schedule time now. I'm like, hey, if this is open in my calendar, I'm going to keep it open and just kind of have a day to kind of like, not engage with too much stuff. But, I mean, this is something I'm passionate about, so it doesn't really feel like work. So I'm always thinking about it. I could go weeks without turning on my TV. Right. Honestly, it's just like my house can be silent because I'm always like thinking of stuff, doing stuff. It's always like keeps me, energetic and it keeps you going. It's like something to live for. Where's the Rocky say? I got nothing to live for, Rocky.
Right. So, is there a place where you were asked to review? You went there and you were like, I can't do it.
That they asked me to review this place,
right? Or you just didn't have a good experience.
I don't know if.
Let's put you on the spot. All right,
there was a place that.
This is the first clip, by the way. You shitting. On
you know
what?
They're not around anymore, so it doesn't matter. But it was like that spot that's next to the Fillmore. It was like a seafood spot.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So like they invited to a media night, and I was just like, all right, cool. Can I order something it was something that was on the menu, but they weren't like serving. I was like, can I just like, I'll pay for it? They were like, nah. They just gave me a hard time about it. And the food was like not that. I mean, sorry, but
they're not around anymore.
And usually when the PR people invite you out, they expect you to do content. And I was like, I can't even like lie to my people to send them here.
Right.
And it probably lasted like a month, or whatever. It was just like
that's been a tough spot to keep open, right? It's changed hands.
It doesn't have to be a restaurant though. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it seems like a complex for entertainment.
Right.
I mean, you got your golf, you got your comedy, you got your bowling. Like, it doesn't have to
It's
be.
set up to be an
Yeah, it's up to
entertainment
be.
spot.
Yeah.
Sure. So when did you start branching out of Philadelphia, like doing content for other people?
I didn't.
I was just kidding. Lying. We can cut that out. I will cut it out. Yeah.
Everything we do is hyper local Philly, but I do have like a very few select clients that I do work for.
We can take that all
No, it's
day.
okay. No, and I just, and that caused for me to leave Philadelphia to do like some of their content and so forth. So I do have traveled. This was from Tulsa. I do work out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. So I do stuff outside of Philadelphia, but it doesn't go on water ice. I
Right.
do a lot of white glove stuff for local businesses that doesn't end up on water ice. It's just content for them.
Sure.
But just like I everything we do primarily is this. I don't do outside the city. So people like in Bucks County, Mainline, Jersey, they're like, hey, can you? I'm like, I can't. I mean,
Right.
just keep it contained. There's enough here.
Sure.
Okay.
When you guys, how do you come up with the name?
Great question.
Was it your first? Yeah.
We will never know. So no,
Okay.
I
Great question, and it's none of your
None
fucking
of your
business.
fucking business. I used to intern at, it was a record company called Takedown Records, and it was like in Chinatown. They had a lot of like Bugsy, Snake, Caution. They had a lot of great rappers and so forth. It was like a big thing. Long story short, there was a guy that I was working with, and he had a company. It was called Cheesesteak Media, and I was like, that's dope because it's Philly, but you don't have to say Philly in it.
Right.
You know it's Philly, and I was like, that's genius. Like, what else can I say that's like Philly? You know it's from here. That doesn't have to say it. And I wanted something that didn't have to do with being like content. Like, I don't want to be like Philly Premier Content Services or something.
Like Philly loves Philly. Like
yeah, exactly. But because the
Change the
people
name.
change the name, we redact it. He's great at voiceover, so
Yes.
So I was just like, that's great because people will be like, might forget the other name, but will never forget like Waters. Oh, that's the Waters. It sticks. It's
Right.
different. It's nothing has to do with content, and it starts a conversation like, oh, so you sell water ice? No, but let's talk about something. You know.
When does the logo come in? I'm a huge Ben Franklin fan.
Yeah.
I've always loved that logo.
First, to start off with like the water icy thing,
Okay.
kind of like situation. Just the cup. My boy, there was my old roommate.
Do you remember the cup?
So it just kind of like the one that referred Jamel to me. He's a graphic designer. He used to be like the Flyer King. Shout out to Serge, the Flyer King in Philadelphia at one time. He actually ended up working for Adobe, so he's sick with it. Long story short, he did that logo, and then after a while, I was like, man, I need something cool that's more like lifestyle stuff. And I was like, I just like thought like that'd be cool. Like I saw the logo, something similar somewhere else. I was like, Ben Franklin. Plus, like, put the brand, the bandana, like Philly, and just gonna go with it, you know. And now we can change it to every kind of flag, nationality, business, color, and kind of play with it.
Brilliant.
So we have you look on our website, we have like every flag.
Yeah, it's really smart.
Mhm.
The last 5 minutes when you talk about the business, all in my head, I'm like,
We're gonna start the
I'm
clock
so
now.
unsuccessful.
Clock is
Yes.
at the bottom of the screen. Check out the 5 minute.
I'm just all the things in my head like I'm not doing. So thank you for
That's the
making
power
me
of
feel
editing.
less than. So, what's your favorite
Yes.
drink spot in Philly?
Drink spot. Whew. A drink spot. Oh man.
You're looking like for low key.
Oh shit, man. I love a good margarita. I'm a big like margarita guy. So like there's a lot of great spots there that have like a lot of good local Mexican spots.
The
Especially.
Bourse Building has a good margarita.
I have to try
I
it.
feel like it's surprised. So
Is that a plug?
not for the building. They're selling the building.
Let's buy it.
It's up for sale.
It's got a GoFundMe going.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Goldman Sachs needs a GoFundMe.
So we talk about favorite spots.
Favorite.
So I read about all food spots. If I had it like, all right. This was my favorite spot going a while because I actually lived in Northern Liberties for a while, and I used to always go to North Third, and I was like one of my favorite spots. And I was
The
always
Abbey.
I used to live above the Abbey, kind of like right there
Okay.
where the coffee shop is at. Right there.
I was your neighbor.
I was 631. I was
High Grounds.
Yeah, High Ground. Tony was. I was before High Grounds was in there.
Right.
Then he started it while I was living there, and I left and he took my apartment.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was above.
Remember the barista with the dreadlocks that worked there?
Probably. I didn't like coffee drinker.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll cut that part out too.
But
So-
what I was gonna say is they took away the crispy chicken sandwich, and I won a campaign for North Third to bring back the crispy chicken sandwich because they took it off the permanent menu. Now they have the honey dip sandwich, and I'm like, now you have to call like, hey, do you have the? And they to change the bread. North Third, bring back the crispy chicken sandwich with the Texas toast and avocado, man. That's all we want.
If
That's
we
what the
can
streets
get,
want.
if we get North Third to bring back the crispy chicken with the Texas toast
Permanently.
and avocado,
Yeah.
are you?
I think if that happens, I think they might erect a statue in my favor just for making it happen because people are talk about that.
That's got to be a Wooderize post though. That the sandwich is back.
I don't want to put them on blast that much, but I think they'll get the message here.
That was North Third, and then the Abbey across the street was one of my spots. I lived right there. I lived on.
There used to be like the Italian spot used to be in the corner, BYOB Italian corner.
Right. Yep.
Ill something.
I lived on Third and Fourth. Lived on Fairmount between Third and Fourth.
Yeah, I used to hoop in the
right
park there. This is Piazza was like just being built.
Right.
There was nothing along Second Street. It was just like it wasn't that popping of a spot.
Right.
So like
that cool dog park on Ontario. I don't know if you ever
I didn't have a
passed by
dog,
there. So there's no reason. Neither did I.
I'm a cat guy, so
I need a place to hang out.
I think cats are the
dog
most
owners are
considerate.
friendly, and if you go to a busy one, they don't know if you have a pet or not.
Mhm.
And so if
That's
you're a guy like
creepy.
me that like is in desperate need of friendship, it's the way to go.
Yeah.
You go to the dog park, you sit down, people are like, "Oh, where's your dog?" You're like, "It's the one over there."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They're not gonna make you
As long
narrow
as
it
it's a
down.
dog park, as long as you're not hanging out in like playgrounds, so we're good.
Yeah, I can't anymore.
Yeah, push it on
So
this.
yeah, I'm not allowed within 500 feet. So
Heck, do you have any hidden gems people maybe don't know about?
hidden gems.
Man, I should have did my homework. That's where those things I go blank on. I mean, there's like a lot of good emerging places. Like I actually am a Port Richmond guy, that's where I live at. There's a spot Nemi's a good great Mexican food out there. Cantina La Martina was like on Kensington. It's like Campfront is a really bad intersection there, but they have like amazing happy hours, like $1 tacos. I mean, and he got voted like best chef in Philly. This guy's amazing, yeah. So it's like $1 tacos, like $6 margaritas. I loaded up on like 10 tacos. I don't know how many margaritas, like chips. My bill was like $30 for happy hour. It was insane.
That's wild. You go to Temple. When do you realize like you want to leave your corporate job and start off on your own?
I always kind
Are
of.
is Wooderize happening while you're working?
Yeah.
Okay.
For a while, I was doing both. When I was working an SEO job, I had one developer. It's like help me put up the site, on WordPress, and kind of like I learned a lot of back ends developer stuff. I was like, all right, cool. Then I got into like more working like marketing, and I just was like working on the side while I was working for the real estate because I could make my own schedule, and kind of like working when they started picking up more and more and more. And then people started offering, I can send invoices and pay for stuff. I was like, all right, I could probably make this happen. But the first couple months, I mean, like when I quit, it was a struggle, man. Because like one thing you learn, man, invoices get paid when invoices get paid, not when you want to. Like checks happen all the time, but when you live invoice to invoice, that's a hard life.
Sure.
So people out there, pay your invoices.
Please.
There's a creative out there waiting for
pay,
you.
Yes.
He's waiting for his PayPal or whatever notification to hit. So pay your invoices, but because you're getting a steady check. But when you invoices, you might get one that's paid 30 days,
terms,
90 days net, all that stuff. So that was a tough learning. So you got a lot of you fuck up your credit, a lot of like behind bills.
Sure.
So like that was tough. But I mean, even first starting the business, the first several years, I didn't get any money. It was just like I wasn't expecting. There was no Instagram real payments and all that stuff.
Right.
There was no money in that stuff.
When did that all start to shift? When does that start to become like a viable career? Like
For me,
what in general,
Uh-huh.
and then specifically for you, when did this become your full time?
I think in general within the last couple of years, I think it's been because when Instagram and TikTok places started doing like monetizing reels and things like that, and it made it easier for people to generate income and then subscription services. So there's a lot of ways that you can make it happen. But I noticed like I think it's been about 6 or 7 years since I last saw a W-2.
What's the best cheesesteak in the
Jesus.
city of Philadelphia?
I ain't gonna lie. So I had to go to Angelo's, but like when I used to work nightlife, I used to bartend. It's
Okay.
a secret. But after shift, we'd all drive down to Phillips, and that was our spot. So
Phillips.
yeah. So that was like for a while. Nightlife will finish like 2:30, 3, or actually like 3:30, sometimes later, because we'll drink after or whatever party, and then we all head down to Phillips. It was like a thing.
2 minute steaks.
Yeah, get
2
there.
minutes.
Be done in 2 minutes.
It was our spot.
So, was there ever a moment where you thought about leaving Philly?
Never, nah.
Did you grow up in Philly?
Nah, I didn't originally grow up here. I've been here like most of my life.
Gotcha.
But I didn't never thought about leaving here. Like it never was a thought. Like I just love it so much. It's just so much. It's like so much beauty in it. Not a lot of people are like. You see comments like, "I'm so glad I left Philly. I'm not even like this place is a cesspool, and like I'm so glad I left. It's like a shit." I'm like whatever. We don't miss you. Whatever.
And there's probably people that didn't really live in Philly anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta show that it's like so much greatness. I never thought it. Plus, it's super affordable. So.
Absolutely. What do you identify most with in the city of Philadelphia?
As far as.
Like character trait. Are you gonna give this city?
I mean,
traits?
just like honesty, rawness, kind of like don't show like kind of like be transparent. Like just say what you feel. Kind of like there's no bullshit. People like just quick to tell you exactly how you're hard in your sleep type of thing. Like quick. I love. A lot of people are like, oh, your platform's great, and you get a lot of praises. But I also like the constructive criticism too. People tell me straight up in comments, like, this story is trash, or this is why I do this. Like, all right, I mean, I gotta take the good with the bad, but at least you're brutally honest about stuff. Like, I like that brutal honesty.
Absolutely. I think that hard-working attitude, right, comes here. There's so much that starts here, not only for our country, but let me try that again. I'm stumbling over my words today. So
it's okay. Try this, Mike.
So Philly's the city of first, right? Everything from the first bicycle to the first root beer float to the first bank, and beyond those contributions, obviously there's the Independence Hall, Declaration of Independence, and then the fight for equality in our country starts here in Philly, and that like pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of attitude.
Okay.
And I think that's as someone who was not born here as well, that's been the biggest draw for me.
But either was Joe Frazier. He came here when he was like 16. He got a statue.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Rocky left pretty early on, right?
He left. He still got a statue. He left. He left
gone.
us.
Yeah. All right, can we pause for a sec? You know what? I just thought of a really good question. You've been pumping Philly up for a really long time, right?
Yes.
So how is it now to see the city kind of reaping the rewards of its hard work?
Like restaurants and different things popping up in neighborhoods I didn't think that was going to happen. I mean, like I said, like I lived in Neuro Liberties when it wasn't that like popping, and Fishtown was definitely not the spot to be. And now Fishtown is like crazy, whatever. And I'm seeing like places like Port Richmond, Kensington starting to like, come. And I'm against, obviously gentrification, but when people reinvest back in the community and do things that, of value, I also support that. And I'm people chasing their dreams, opening restaurants. That's a tough thing.
Absolutely. What's your perfect meal in Philly? You have your last meal. What's going to be on the table?
Oh man, I ain't going in the front, man. I got to go with Latino food. I love Latino foods. I have to stick with my culture. Like I love that stuff, like a good hearty meal.
So who best represents that in the city?
Puerto Rican cuisine. Shout out to Boricua Restaurant. They do a great job. Hector over there. They have 2 restaurants. He's expanding. He's really kind of elevating that Puerto Rican, because it's like more. It used to be just like you go to like North Philly to like a corner spot and they'll just dig out your food and like here you go, and kind of quick, fast, So it wasn't like he has a good sit down, kind of like more like he puts a lot of love into it. But also it's called I think Sabor Pupusa Sabor. I gotta look it up. Okay, yeah. So it's Pupuseria Sabor Latino. It was like
that first part of that name. I mean, I'm sure it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a El Salvadorian spot, and they have like now they upped the price, but at one time it was a $10 platter. It was like shrimp, chicken, steak, rice,
That's
beans,
a poo-poo platter.
It was amazing. It was a quality, fresh. Now it's like $12. It's still a great spot, and then pupusas are just like out of this world. It's a great spot. I like Uber Eats the shit out of that place for a while. I think I got platinum status.
Is that right?
But now to chill out, obviously. But that's a great spot too. Like their platters are amazing. I never even did a story on them, so if seeing this, a foodie might be watching this, but I'm gonna go do this content.
Yeah. Well, now you gotta beat them to it.
I know.
Where do you get a lot of your leads from? So, I mean, you reach out to us before
Mhm.
anyone knew who we were.
Yeah.
Which is the reason, by the way. If you want the reason I didn't answer back to you is because I didn't know who we were yet.
Yeah.
We were like,
That's deep.
seriously,
Yeah.
we were. I've always been terrified of releasing something too soon.
Yeah. We need some like soft music undertones.
Yeah.
Under this.
Hold on a second. No, no. I've always kind of waited too long to like launch a tour because I want to make sure
You gave me a shoulder when
that the
I
bad
needed
press
it.
doesn't crush me, kind of thing.
You show me love.
I don't remember what the
when
question was anymore. That really.
It was how do I get my leads?
How do you get your leads? Yeah. So how do you? Yeah.
I dedicate hours of my day just to actively find things, and I go to different sources, whether it's like their main pages, events pages, things like that. Because I don't sit and wait for people to pitch me stuff. Because like PR, I have a relationship with PR people, and they do pitch me a lot of stuff. And I pick and choose whatever, but I just can't be like their client heavy. Obviously they're gonna
Sure.
they'll send me like a festival, but they only like send me stuff about their client in the festival. Like it's not like objective. So I gotta like. So long story short, I go out and actively find what's going on. Scroll Instagram or whatever, see what's like who's popping up. Like I just did that Korea taco spot. Like I saw that they didn't even open yet. They were just putting up the sign. He was documenting the journey. I was like, shit, man, can I do some stuff for you coming up? Like people like that I like to like give that extra push. And he's like the first day they like sold out of shit. It was like insane. You know what I mean? Like.
Right.
So, so I like to just find those places that are like new, up and coming, plus like different, because everybody's a lot of like foodies. If you notice, like, when a restaurant opens, everybody has like the same. They'll organize, how you say, influencer things
Right.
around the event, so everybody's posting at the same time. Or, like that's cool, but I like to post stuff no one else is posting, so it's
Sure.
It's it disrupts the timeline a little bit.
Beat people to the punch.
Yeah, it's not, yeah that plus just giving people variety. People want, and plus like people like, especially our age demographic, they like different things. I might want to learn about a Wu-Tang pop-up dinner today, but I'm also want to know about a Van Gogh exhibit tomorrow. I might go check out a Valet the next day. I might go to a rap concert. Like not everybody wants one thing. Like, and plus like I try to cater, to give everybody a little something of different things are happening. I don't want to be pigeonholed into one like box.
I know you said ballet, but I heard valet, and
That's
I'm just
cool too.
yeah.
I did
imagine
valet for a little
you
bit,
toss
too.
the guy the keys. You like
I valet.
bring it
here.
right back for me.
I used to be the Hilton right there where we went
Yeah.
I valet there for a little bit. I scratched somebody's car at one time. I'm not gonna lie, like, I parked that. I didn't know. The insurance took care of that.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
I don't know who that could have been, but it was not my fault.
That's like
I
take
just
that
imagine
out.
you like tossing the guy the keys.
What's the
and be like,
statute of
"All right,
limitations?
I'll take those keys back now. The statute of limit. How long ago was it?
a long time ago. Long time.
It's a little longer than that.
I told you.
Yeah. Oh, 8, yes. So, what event coming up are you most excited about? Now, we don't know when this is going to air.
Yeah, we
so,
don't know who's gonna air.
but
I mean, like a lot of evergreen events we could talk about. Obviously, what's coming up? Let's have it. Like Welcome America, like here in Philly is cool. We're here and like in Penn's Landing. Like the summertime, like this gets pretty popular. I love like when this happens in the summertime. This is a great vibe out here. It's like the festival. Like I remember this was just like a pop up with the Ferris wheel, but it got so popular that they kept it. Not Ferris, so the Ferris wheel, yeah. And so they just kept it here. Like this used to not be how it was now. They just set up for the summer and they tear it down, and it was just empty. Now they keep it up, during the winter festivals and the summer festivals. But the summer with the roller skating and this whole strip right here is really lively. A lot of events happening. So this is a great area to be around in the summertime. Spruce Arbor Park, people getting down and don't get in the hammocks because it happens in the hammocks, stays in the hammocks. But
Yes.
just a lot of stuff, cool stuff has happened in this area.
it doesn't always stay in the hammocks. Like,
Yeah, right,
yeah.
yeah.
It's COVID jumped right out of them. I'm pretty sure that's where it started. I want to talk about the billboards.
Okay.
When did you find out that was a reality?
When did I find out what was the reality, Tim?
That you were going to be on billboards, one with the link in the background,
Yeah.
and the other in the middle of Times Square.
So, good question. I'm glad you asked. So, Comcast does like this program where they do grants called Comcast Rise, and it's through small businesses. And they have a cash one and they have like a advertising one. I won the advertising grant through Comcast Rise, which was like a commercial which I shot and edited. It was aired on TV, and then through that, since I was a winner, they did a documentary about the program, and they came here and interviewed me for the program, which is going to air in this March, I think. And part of that, they took headshots and all these photos of me while filming a documentary. I had no clue that they was going to be on billboards. So, like, I'm chilling at home. My boy Roland, I think you know Roland, he's like, yo, you're on 95. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And like, what? So he's like, other people start telling me, and then all of a sudden I got a video of this guy driving down Market Street. My boy Brandon, and I was like, I was like, oh, it's everywhere, and I'm like, yo, they're like, oh, no one told you? Yeah, you got a billboard campaign. It's like Philly, DC, Chicago, all these like major cities, New York, and you have all these like billboards here, Times Square, everywhere else. I'm like, shit, I had no idea.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
that's really wild. So, did that instantly lead to more people reaching out, trying to get like? Did it help build the Wood Rice brand at all?
No, because Wood Rice isn't on the billboard.
Gotcha.
Like I wear my hat, whatnot, but it was just to promote them, to put my face. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if you follow Andrew Dice Clay at all.
I do.
It's like the face, the trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's an old reference.
No, he does it now on Instagram.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's like his new
he keeps
thing.
going up to people asking like, for like, you want an autograph?
With the trophy, the face. Yeah. Shout out to the Clay man. But no, people. I'll get more tag things than anything. It wasn't more about Wood Rice, but it was still cool. Like just to have that recognition, obviously. But I'm actually gonna do more stuff with them. Like I did like a panel on Clubhouse. I do have another panel coming up on the 8th of this month at Comcast. So they're really working me from that program.
All right. All-time 76er starting 5 lineup.
Oh, sheesh. I got obviously AI.
At the point, right?
Wilt.
Clearly.
Come on, man. Wilt's the man.
Sure.
Chocolate Thunder. I'm going to go with him. Moses. Him. I honestly probably like Wilt plus AI, and then the rest are like the 83 team. It was like Andrew Toney, like fucking
Barkley.
Barkley, because like they actually was like at the All-Star game. I think like all 5 of them made it or some shit.
Right.
And 4 of them started the All-Star game.
It's wild.
It's wild.
That's right, Dr. J.
People don't talk. Dr. J. I'm sorry, Dr. J, AI, Wilt, Barkley, and Chocolate Thunder. How about that?
And then Malone coming off the bench.
Coming
That's like that. I don't think
I might actually
many
have Chocolate
teams
Thunder
could match that.
I'm at Chocolate Thunder
Six-man
coming off
roster.
the bench. I'm gonna
Start Malone.
Malone. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. All world.
That's the team.
Yeah.
Your favorite Eagles player
Of all time.
of all time?
I have to go with Cunningham because it got me to become a fan. I mean, because
Okay.
you're on the playground, everybody's and this is before YouTube highlight reels. Like you had to like really watch Sports Center in the
You
morning.
got to know who was good, or by playing Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, that. Because you wasn't
Cunningham was amazing.
there
on
was no
Tecmo Bowl.
social media side. You had to like know these players. So like the Eagles at the time, like you played backyard football. Everybody wanted to be Randall. I'm Randall scrambling. Like you knew him jumping. Like that was his like before highlight culture was a thing. That was the man. So the guy
Right.
who got me into it was there. Other than like modern, I have to say Kelsey because the O-line and Mailata because like. Whenever I go to Eagles events, they're always present and they're always there. They're really engaged. They're really great guys.
They're so down to earth, right? I've gotten to meet Kelsey twice. Once he was at the table like next to us. That place on Fairmount Ave, Mexican restaurant, Body Art Museum, really good.
Okay, yeah.
I can't think of it at the
I
moment.
can't think. I got told
We'll
I
Google it
draw
later.
blanks.
We don't want to give free shout outs to them anyway, but
Yeah.
they're at 24th and Fairmount. And
I think like Felice or something.
yes, yeah. Kalika La Felice,
Yeah, something like that.
So he's at the table next to us, and I was like trying not to stare at him. Saw that he was paying his bill, so I kind of like quickly paid
He has
mine.
an illustrious beard now, so I can see why you want to.
I know. I like
Yeah.
it is incredible.
Yeah.
But I waited outside, and he saw me, and he like walked over. He's like, "Hey, I saw like I know you were like next
I
to us at the
noticed you
restaurant."
noticing me.
Yeah. But he was like, "You want a picture?" And then like
Yeah.
he asked his wife to take it, so that I could
Look at that,
get
man.
it.
That's
Like, he
all
was
time, man.
so nice.
That's all
And then
time.
the second time was actually didn't go over to. I don't want to bother him, but Ardmore Music Festival. He went there to like kick off this charity fundraiser.
Yeah, he was on stage, right? He was like.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then he, at some point during the show, he went and he sat next to the merch table for like an hour. So anyone in the venue could just go up to Jason Kelsey. And this is this past season, mid-season, like maybe 2 months ago.
You know, it's crazy because
It's
he
so,
wasn't
like,
that active
what
on
a
social.
cool
Now he has
person.
the podcast and stuff
With
going.
his brother, right?
So you can see his personality more. He's like, before he didn't know, he's like, I don't know this guy. But he's like, all like the guy's like next all world. Like him and Milano are just like
He's
super
unreal.
cool people.
Yeah, think like you walked onto stage with a high school band and played
Yeah.
like just
They're insane. I mean, like you
Yeah.
saw, like he has
That's
the
amazing.
greatest parade speech of all time. It will never be
the
topped.
greatest parade speech of all time. For
I think
sure.
it might be like one of the greatest speeches in American history. It might be like in the National Registry.
It needs to be.
Yeah.
It should be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, Smithsonian. You gotta
Right next to Rocky's. If I can change,
Like I
and you
work
can
at
change.
every day. When I'm in the gym, people think I'm listening to music. I'm listening to Kelly's speech the whole time.
That's
on,
it.
on repeat.
The whole
I'm
time.
running through a wall
What's your favorite Rocky speech
of all. Like
of any of the movies?
I think the one where I kind of referenced before was like, "You got nothing to live for. You got me, kid." Or you got. We talk about
Right.
life's funny. You know, like nature's smart.
I like his when he ended
Okay,
he ended the Cold War single-handedly. Rocky 4.
That's true too.
He addressed the Russian crowd. If
A lot
I
of
can
people are
change
gonna
and
say,
you can
like,
change.
It's not how many times you fall down. Sometimes.
Right.
But that's like over reference.
Yeah.
But it's
Kelsey referenced that in his.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
just the fact that it was just like, as you know, your age and so forth, like finding something that keeps you like driven and sticking around
Right.
and kind of a purpose. That was deep, man.
Give me a fun event thing to do in Philly coming forward this spring.
This spring,
Any big events coming up?
hopefully we have a trolley tours coming up. That's a good plug. So
Might be, yeah.
Might have trolley tours. Gee, I don't even know, bro. That's a good question. I don't even know.
We'll come up with our own.
Come
We'll
with
just,
our own.
we'll just cut that
I
out.
don't know. People ask me, it's funny because I was telling Alistair for the interview, was people ask me all the time, like text me, hey, what's going on this weekend or what's going on in Philly? And I don't know. I really don't. I draw a blank. Like
There's too much in
it's
your head
so
to pull
much,
it out.
Yeah, I have like a thing where I put stuff down and I move on, and there's so much information to retain. I'll have a lot of storage in my floppy disk up here.
Right.
That's showing my age.
Sure.
So like I just don't, and people, and plus like they want you to plan their whole date. It's like,
Right.
hey, what's going on? What's like? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't remember names of restaurants, places. Like I'll do whole videos of places and forget they even exist. I'm sorry. I have that crazy memory where I just like forget stuff.
I mean, you're a busy man. Like, take us through a typical day.
I wake up. I'd call my financial advisor and we go over the numbers. Like, just kidding. Now I made a promise to myself to get up early because I hated mornings. I was not a morning person. So let me get up in the morning and be a morning person. So now I get up around between 5:30. Go to the gym.
Wow.
Start my day. Then I dive in. I time block stuff. So I dive into like stuff like emails, getting back to people, things like that. Then I do try to do some content, search for things like that, and then a lot of times now it's like a lot of Zoom calls and shit,
Right.
a lot of meetings, and just kind of like doing content all day. It doesn't stop, man. It does not stop.
So do you plan out in the beginning? Like, do you sit down and plan out your day each day, or
I time block stuff on my calendar. Like this is the time I'm doing content. This is the time I'm answering emails, and time block it that way. But a lot of times it's hard to predict because things pull you in one direction all the time. Like you get random calls like, hey, I need you over here. Do you have time tomorrow to do this? Like, so it's like different, situations. And there's a lot of events coming up that I do for clients. Like one of my clients, shout out to my client, Diageo. I do stuff like in New York. So I'll be in New York tomorrow, New York next week, doing events and things like that.
You need to get out of Philly. You can go anywhere for a couple of days. Where are you picking?
That I have never been.
Up to you. You could redo an experience.
I mean, I've been to Japan, but I've never been to like Southeast Asia, like Thailand. My Farrah, who's on my team, she did a honeymoon there, and she was telling
Right.
me about it, how great it is. So I was like, I would love to go out that way. It's super cheap from right here. You live like we balling out there,
Right.
So that'd be great. I've done like the Amsterdam thing. Like I've done traveling by myself. Like I used to go in places by myself. Like I went there by myself. So I like that experience. You get out of your comfort zone, meet people. So I went to Amsterdam. I'll do that again. That was awesome because I like beaches, but I love history and architecture.
Right.
And they have like the most museums per capita. And I don't smoke, but I did partake. And so I did the Van Gogh
When in
Museum, like high as shit, like with the tour, and it was like amazing.
Yeah, his sister has a story about that, and like an hour later, she was on a pedestrian bridge, like staring at the river for like 20 minutes, and then told somebody, like, "This is the most beautiful painting I've ever seen in my life." And like, you are looking at a river.
I co-signed that. Yeah, it was amazing. I did the Heineken tour. I got the custom motorized bottle.
Nice.
And, like, I just met people from all over. Just like, hey, you want to go to a cafe? Like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, fucking, it was an amazing time.
So, last question here. You have to take someone around the city for a day, and they want like the must hits. Give me 3 must hits in Philly.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna come to Philly and you need to check out the sites, so you gotta Finding Footsteps, findingfootsteps.com. Find them on
I don't have my
Instagram.
wallet with me, but
Yeah.
yes, Founding
If you wanna-
Footsteps.
honestly, like this would be honestly, I would recommend this not because you're here, just because not just for tourists, but it gives an authentic feel because you give it like a great entertainment aspect, but like a local kind of like projector.
Right.
It isn't like this is the Liberty Bell. I think you don't even shop at Liberty Bell. I think you do like more like
I forget
cool
it's
shit.
there so often.
Yeah. So it's like cool local shit. Definitely do your tour. I would recommend. Plus, it's BYOB. Get a
Man.
beer, get some liquor, chill, and then go have dinner afterwards. It's perfect.
You are the greatest. Yeah.
Honestly, I would honestly
I
recommend
appreciate
it.
that. What two other must dos?
Yeah. When you come here, it depends what you're into. Like obviously, we have some great like museums, which I love.
Right.
Check that and check out like one of our concert venues. Like check in a show, if you can. If you have some cool like I missed the Trocadero, man. That was my spot.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
man's such a great place
It was
now.
such
though,
I
right?
think he's gonna come back from what I hear. But
Is that right?
yeah, this other maybe even like a couple like something local, like the Fire, Johnny Brand or something. Like take in a show, immerse yourself into like the local scene, and then maybe like hit up one of these places like right here. Obviously, in the summertime, the Oval is sick.
Yes.
They have shows out there. They have the Ferris wheel going on. They have the museum backdrop. It's super cool. I think so. Depending on the time of year, like the Oval X is a dope spot, or Penn's Landing, obviously, because it's just like cool. They can take the ferry to the aquarium too, get both experience, so you can like do a lot over here. So like, just on the surface level, get that experience, and then you come back and we'll dive deeper.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, anything before we go, where can people find you?
You can find me at waterice.com. It's WOODERICE.com. Water_ice on Instagram. Find us on TikTok, trying to get that popping more, and on Twitter, waterice215. I feel like people don't use Twitter to find things.
I had Twitter's. I don't know. Instagram.
I feed
right?
it just because it automatically feeds into it, but I'm not on Twitter, so
Do you have any goals for like doing longer form things in the future?
like a documentary or some shit.
Right.
Yeah, I think in the future I would get into it, but right now it's kind of like shoot and go type of thing.
Well, you have a lane at the moment, right? So you try
Yeah, it's kind of
hit that
I'm
lane
gonna
as
ride
hard as
that
you can.
out for a little
Yeah,
bit.
for
See how
sure.
where that takes me.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got tons of footage of different shit. I would love to put something together, and I'm just at Philly. I mean, kind of like something to be cool, or just like some locals and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of great figures here that are in Philadelphia that do great things that don't get the recognition they deserve.
I know you got to get a lot of great feedback from businesses that you've helped out.
Mm-hmm.
Any stories where people were like, "Man, we feel like we were on our last leg, and you gave us this big push"? Or
Yeah, there's this
along
guy.
those lines.
What he does is he has like these defunct trolleys and he puts them in these tours and he doesn't do these holidays.
The frames are busted, and they yes, yeah, dude. I will speak to that. So we've been running this true crime tour now. This is our 3rd season. Now, like I said, I roll things out slow. So I didn't go to you in year 1. I didn't go to you in year 2 because I was nervous that we weren't ready. This year I felt like we were ready, and the marketing end of it has always been where I've struggled. And yeah, the power of Water Ice, man. Within 2 days, our month was sold out.
I mean, we
It was
get
wild.
that a lot, especially like newer business. Like for instance, like I just told you about the Korean taco spot. Like I think he had like 1,600 followers at the time. He's at like 5,000, I think now, something like that.
Wow.
Something crazy. Like in the first day, I was like doing videos. Like, you think it's gonna be crazy? I was like, yeah. He's like, they text me. I couldn't even look up. It was like it was insane. Like, he was like
It's crazy.
ran out of shit. It was like orders were out the door. It was like insane. So that was cool. I mean, it's a great feeling when you get to when people give you that feedback. You know.
Before we go, can you plug Founding Footsteps one more time?
Of course, man.
No.
This is the only tour you need in your life, man. It's Founding Footsteps. I mean, even if you don't drink or whatever, it's just a great time. Gather your friends. You get to see the city in a way you have never seen it before. Trust me. I mean, it's great, obviously, during the holidays. And look out for us, man. We really want to work with these guys to give you some cool, curated, local kind of feel. This is Hector from waterice.com, and you are tuned in to Philly Loves Philly, where everything you need to know about movers and shakers and things to do in Philadelphia.